At 5 a.m. every Wednesday morning in the summertime, a group of a dozen or so men gather at the Serbian picnic grounds along Kings Creek, outside of Weirton, West Virginia. In a long cement block building, they mill about in the dawn light, eating donuts, drinking coffee, and reading the morning paper. The men are members of the Serbian Men's Club of the Holy Resurrection Serbian Orthodox Church. They've been hosting weekly chicken blast fundraisers here since 1969. They roast 300 to 400 chickens a week and sell them to the Weirton community.
My name is John Kasanovich. I'm 73 years old. Lived in Weirton, West Virginia all my life. Right now, I'm the treasurer of the men's club. I've been the treasurer for the last 16 years. And when I come down here on Wednesdays, I tend to fire. Every Wednesday from the last Wednesday in May till the last Wednesday in August, we cook chickens for the community. And guys get down here usually around 5:30 in the morning, and they start the process of what we have to do. Cleaning the poles up, getting the chickens out and all, and preparations to start the day. And then some guys come down and, like me, I start the fire. And then the process goes on for the day. We cook the chickens, we wrap them, we put them in our boxes that we keep the coolers, we keep them in, and they stay warm for the whole day, and they'll stay juicy, and never had a complaint about them.
John is nonchalant about the process, but these chicken blasts are a lot of work. Each member knows their role, and they work together like a well-oiled machine, tending the fires, adding salt and pepper to the chickens, tying them on the pole, rotating and tending to them, then wrapping each bird in tin foil to stay hot for customers. 350 roasting chickens supplied by a farm in Pennsylvania is an impressive sight. There are 25 chickens on a pole and 3 to 4 poles stacked over each fire, burning at about 800 degrees. Chickens on the top drip fat on the chickens below, naturally basting them. Other than that, the recipe is deceptively simple.
Oh, they taste terrific. I think some people say it's the best chickens that they've ever had. And we only season with salt and pepper. A lot of people think there's a secret recipe. There's no secret to it at all. It's just salt and pepper. And we make sure they're cooked.
This unique spit design, the industrial brick oven, and walk-in coolers were built just for this purpose by members of the men's club. And they all worked at Weirton Steel Mill. In fact, skills they developed as pipe fitters, bricklayers, and machinists helped make this operation a reality.
We had one man that was real adept at putting the hearth together. He was a bricklayer in the mill, and he knew how to build them up. We had one man, George Baltich. He was a boss with the carpenters, so he was able to, know how to make the tables. Other guys were millwrights. They knew how to work with the motors and all that and set things up. So we had a lot of guys that were very, very useful to what we had to get accomplished here.
In the early days, the customer base was largely steel mill workers and their families.
Most guys that worked in the mill, they were looking for lunches after work or taking the chicken to work for their lunch. And the more the word spread around in the mill about this being available, more people took the opportunity to make themselves available for it. And after 4 o'clock, we'd come down, family come down, get a chicken, picnic-style day.
They even chose their roasting day to coincide with the mill workers' pay schedule.
They decided to do Wednesday because when the steel mill was in great production, there were 2 paydays. There were the strip steel and the tin mill. And they would pay on Wednesday, one on one Wednesday, the next on the other Wednesday. So they paid every 2 weeks. So there was always a payday on Wednesday. That's why it was chosen Wednesday.
As steel jobs declined in Weirton, the number of chickens the club is able to sell per week has declined with it. In the early 80s, the club could sell 600 to 700 chickens a week. Now they average about 350.
I started in the mill in 1966, and we had 14,000 workers in there. And when I retired in 2003, we had a little over 2,000. So we had a big drop-off. So that really, affected the people coming down. And people moved away.
Still, they managed to sell over 5,000 birds over the course of the summer. The weekly chicken blasts still draw a decent crowd who come to picnic on the grounds in the evening. The tradition survives not only because of the strong community among steelworkers, but also because it connects families to their Serbian heritage. Many of the men remember roasting meat in their backyards with their families growing up.
I lived next door to my grandmother and grandfather, and they used to do pigs for Christmas. And we didn't have electric spits. We had hand by the hand, and we'd get like, Jesus, we were kids, we'd go up there and turn the spit. You know, it would take hours, but we didn't care. It was cold in January, but we were by that warm fire. You just knew you were helping for the day, and that was a lot of fun. That was but over in Serbia, yeah, that's a big tradition over there.
It's that connection that keeps John Kasanovic coming down at dawn to stand over a hot fire every week in the heat of summer.
Why do I do it? My basic word is tradition. You know, it's something that, you know, like you see it done every day, every week. You know, I mean, you want to get involved with it. Like I said, I've been involved with it for 33 years. So, you know, just came down one time, and like I said, and boy, this is fun. My one uncle used to come down. He wasn't even Serbian, but he loved it down there. So I'd come down with him, and you know, and it was a lot of fun to be with him like that. You know, so.
It's a tradition that John Greener would like to see continue.
Well, we hope so. We've got a couple folks who are younger than we are right now, but most of the folks here are in their 60s, maybe almost in their 70s, and we'd like to see some young talent get here. We've got a few guys who work here until they have to go to college. I don't know what the future is. You know, it could be in 5 years that we don't have enough volunteers. I hope not. It's a tradition we'd like to continue.
The efforts of the men's club are appreciated by the Weirton community, Serbian and otherwise. Chickens regularly sell out in about 2.5 hours. There is a group of regular customers with standing weekly orders, and some come down to the picnic grounds at 7 a.m. to stake out their favorite picnic table for their evening chicken dinner.
The people that come down here for the chickens, you know what I mean, they're really appreciative that we do this. I mean, you know, like I said, this is a way for them to get their families down here together with their children and all that, and they can interact with their families. The other people that come down here, we have one man that comes down here, he buys 5 chickens every week, but he only eats one. He'll take it and he'll give one to his aunt. He'll give one to a friend. He'll give one to somebody else. And the other people that come down here, like I said, it's just, they get to meet each other. It's like a community thing where, you know, like, oh, he's going to be here every week. I know I'm going to see him.
Oh, it's great. It's camaraderie. You know, it's camaraderie. You come down, the people that worked in the mill, I'm a retired steel worker, you'd come down here on Wednesdays, you bring your family, you bring the kids in. I don't know if you notice on the other side, there's volleyball, there's bocce, there's the kids would go in the creek, when you're a young kid, crawdads and all of that. And it was just a camaraderie. You could either bring the food down here and that, and people bring side dishes, and it's a meal.
The money raised from the chicken blasts help the men's club maintain the picnic grounds, which are used for graduations, weddings, and other church celebrations, like the annual Serbian picnic. The picnic is like a larger version of the chicken blasts and serves as a homecoming for those who have moved away from the Weirton area. As usual, the men's club roasts hundreds of chickens and a few lambs. The church sells other Serbian fare, such as pogača, a type of Serbian bread, haluski, or cabbage and noodles, cevaps, a pork, lamb, and beef sausage, strudel, and nut rolls.
I know you want to eat some.
Attendees eat, drink beer and slivovitz, dance to traditional Serbian music, and catch up with family and old friends.
My 2 brothers, myself, my children, my grandchildren, my children's mother-in-law, my mother-in-law, and we're coming from all over the place. We try to get here every year. Yeah, it's been, I can remember I was their age when I first started doing this with the church. And it's a great event. I'm able to connect with people that I haven't seen in years because we make an effort to come back. And it's really not, I mean, it's a Serbian picnic, but it's also a town event. It's, you know, Weirton is a melting pot, and we have a lot of ethnic groups, and the Serbs are a big one. Now, you know, the music will come in a little bit, and it's mandolins and old country music. Right. And every once in a while, some of the older people will get up and do the folk dances. So it's an extremely beautiful community event.
The Chicken Blasts run from the last weekend in May to the last weekend in August at the Serbian Picnic Grounds in Weirton, West Virginia. For Inside Appalachia and the West Virginia Folklife program, I'm Emily Hilliard in Weirton, West Virginia.
From West Virginia Public Broadcasting.